Hey everyone, welcome to day 3 of the Netflix application build. So in this video, we'll be implementing the Firebase part, that is connecting our application with Firebase, and we'll also be implementing the payment processing part, that is by making use of Stripe integration. And then we'll also be doing the register part as well as the login part, so that the user can register as well as login. So if you find this interesting, please hit the like button and also subscribe for more such content, and let's get started right away. So the initial step is to go to the plan screen. In the previous videos we have designed until here. Okay, so let's try to register and let's give a password. And if I press on the register button, we are coming to the plan screen where we select any one of the plan. But firstly, let's implement in such a way that if the user selects any one of the plan, we have to show it at the bottom with the correct plan as well as the price that is for that plan. So let's go do that. So for this, let's make use of state. Okay, so inside our plan screen over here, let's initialize our state. Let's say const selected comma set selected equals to use state. Okay, so next we also need to calculate the price that is selected. So set price equals to use state. Okay, so let's import use state from React. Yeah, so over there, the pressable where we have that, we are going to introduce a on press event. I think that is over here. Let's write on press. Okay, so I'm going to take a function. First we're going to write set selected to the item dot name, and we're going to say set price to the item dot price. Okay, so save the file. So let us console.log if we are able to select the correct plan. So let's console.log selected. Okay, so let's say if we select the first one, yeah, so you're getting mobile, second one basic, fourth one premium. Okay, so we are getting all the plans that we are able to select correctly. So now in the style part, we should show the difference for the plan that is selected. Okay, so over here, let's write style. So if our selected dot includes our item dot name, we are going to show some style, else we are going to show the random style that we have initialized earlier, that is this one. Let's remove that thing, that's not required. Okay, paste that over here, paste the same thing over here as well. And then now we are going to make the changes. We just need to change the border width. Okay, so if it is selected, we should just show a bigger border width, let's say of 2. If it is not selected, it's just going to be 0.5. Other than that, it's going to be same. So let's save the file. Okay, so let us select the first one. Yeah, so currently that one is selected. So let's select the third one. Let's say that. Yeah, so now standard is selected. And let us also console.log our price for that particular plan. So let's write console.log the price. Okay, yeah, so currently standard is selected, so the price for that is going to be 649. Okay, so I think it's almost going out of the box. So let's provide a better height or increase the height or give some more padding. Okay, let's say height of 170. Okay, that doesn't do any good. We should decrease the font size or provide some internal padding. So for the devices where we are rendering, let's decrease the size to be 25. Okay, now it looks good. Yeah, I guess 25 is okay. So now let's continue building. So at the bottom over here, we will display the plan selected along with the price of that particular plan. Okay, so let's initialize the pressable. It's going to error out because we need to only render a single component. So over here, let's make use of a fragment or the tags. And we are going to render it over here. Okay, so the first thing over here is the view which contains the name of the plan that is gonna be selected. Okay, the value is gonna be selected because it is stored inside of state, that is this one. Okay, so let us give a save. Yeah, so you can see that coming at the bottom, that is selected plan is standard. Okay, so next we want a pressable where we have the price coming up. Okay, so we're gonna say pay that particular amount, so it's gonna be price because it's stored inside of state, that is this value. Okay, so let's write that. So over here let's say price, then save the file. Okay, so for this pressable, let's give the style. Let's give a background color that we have used earlier. I guess that is E something. Yeah, I think this is the one. Let's copy that and paste it here. Let's give some padding of 10, margin bottom of 15, and yeah, let's give it a save and look how it is looking. All right. Okay, it's looking okay. So now let's give a flex direction of row and then align items of center. Okay, and then justify content of space between as well. So save the file once. Okay, yeah, so you can see that coming up. So for the text, let us give the color of white. Okay, the font size of 17 and a font weight of let's say 600. All right, let's provide some padding vertical to this pressable of 6, so we have some internal spacing. Okay, it's not giving up. Maybe we can provide a height attribute of 40. 60 is a bit too big. Let's give 55. Yeah, I think 55 looks good. All right, so towards the right, let us give the styling for the text. Okay, let's say font size of 18 and then a font weight of bold, and the color is going to be white again. Save the file. Okay, let us make it 17 itself and bold. All right, so this pressable is only shown if there is any plan selected. Okay, so let's write a condition for that. Okay, so if the selected dot length is greater than 0, we are gonna show this, else we are gonna simply render null. Okay, so copy up the pressable part and then paste it over here. Save the file. Okay, so we are able to change the plans, and we are able to see at the bottom the plan which is selected, and towards the right we have the price. Okay, yeah, so that part is working good. I think we need that rupee symbol over here. I think we have it in this file itself. Yeah, this one. Let's copy that and paste it over here. Okay, so I think we are done with this part. So the next part is to connect Firebase to our application. So let's go do that. Okay, so I've already opened up Firebase. Just go to the console. Okay, and then let's create a new project. Netflix project, and then press on continue. We will not do this part, that is enable Google Analytics, and then let's create a project. So it's going to take some time to create a project. So it's pretty much going us to give it's going to give us a Firebase config that we need to include it inside of our application. Okay, so let's wait for it to give that, and we are going to create a web app just after finishing up this project. Okay, yeah, so it says your new project is ready. Let's press on continue. Okay, so now let's press on web, come on. Yeah, so let's write Netflix project and then register app. So I think it's taking some time. Yeah, so pretty much let's copy this right here. This is pretty much the config. Okay, and then let's continue to console. Yeah, so as you can see over here, we have the one app that is created, that is this one. Yeah, so that's the Netflix web app. Okay, so pretty much let's go back to our VS Code and then let us create a new file at the root level. Press on app.js, new file. Let's name it firebase.js and then paste whatever you copied over there. Okay, so next what we want to do is let's initialize our auth. So const auth is gonna be get auth of the app. Okay, so let's import get auth. Okay, let's import it manually, it's not showing us the import. So import get auth from Firebase /auth. Okay, now I got to know the mistake we have made is we have not installed Firebase, so that's the reason it's not showing us the import code. So let's go to that first. So over here, press on new terminal. Okay, let's write yarn add Firebase. Let's install a specific version. Let's say this one and then press enter. I hope the spelling is right. Okay. Yeah, so let's wait for it to install the packages and then we are good to go. I think we have included Firebase inside of our application. Over here, let's just export the auth we have initialized. Okay, so let's write export auth. So this is pretty much required for the register function as well as the login function. Yeah, I think it has been installed. Okay, so next thing is to do the payment processing part. That is, if we press on the payment button, we should able to do the payment processing part, and then we should register the user, and then we should be able to navigate to the profile screen as you've seen in the demo video. So let's go do that. So I've already created a separate folder for our backend part. So let's cd into that folder. Okay, so cd the build, cd into Netflix backend, and then code dot. Okay, it's currently not found. Let us uninstall once and then reinstall it again. Okay, let's do that again. Let's install it now. Okay, so now let's give it a try. Yeah, so we can see the folder coming up. So we're going to use this for the backend part, that is for the payment processing. So over here, let's open up a new terminal. Yeah, so now let us write npm init. Okay, yeah, so it is going to ask us some questions. That is, the package name is going to be Netflix backend. Okay, let's select enter. For the version, enter. For the description, let's give backend and entry point. Okay, test command again, press enter, enter, enter. Yeah, so now let's write y and then press enter, so that the package.json file is created. So now let's install some dependencies that we require. Okay, so let's write yarn add. We want first of all Stripe because we're using Stripe integration. Then we want Express, and then we also want costs. Okay, let's hit enter. I think we also need .n also, so let's install that also. So let's hit enter. So this should install all the dependencies that we have included. If there is anything required, we're going to come back and later install it. Okay, so let's write our index.js file. Okay, so we are going to follow the same thing that we followed in our PVR application, that is the previous build. So I'm pretty much going to get the code right now. Okay, so I've just pasted the code. So this is pretty much the same code that we have used it inside our PVR application, that is the video number 4. You can go check that out. I'll pin it in the description below. Okay, so now let us get this type secret key. As you can see over here, we have initialized that. Okay, so let's make a n file. And to get this type secret key, just log into Stripe over here, that is the dashboard. Just provide the necessary credentials, that is for logging in, and then you're going to get the publishable key as well as a secret key over here. So let's pretty much copy the secret key. Okay, and over here let us initialize Stripe secret key equals to the value that we just copied. Okay, so save the file. I hope the value is right, that is type secret key. Okay, so save this file as well. And next we want is, yeah, I think pretty much it's done. Now next what we want to do is we are going to just run it. Okay, so let's write node index.js. Yeah, so you can see it as showing listening on port 8080. That's right. So now next let's come back to our front end part, and where we have our payment button that is inside our I think it's, yeah, in the plan screen. Let us initialize the on press event for the pay button, that is over here. Come on, so on press. Okay, it's gonna be subscribe. Let's give it that name and let's initialize it over here. So const subscribe equals to, yeah, so pretty much I have the code for that as well. Yeah, so pretty much it is the same thing that we are using from the previous build. No code changes have been done. Okay, so over here we are making a fetch request to that particular endpoint, and then we're getting the by making use of the post method and providing the headers, we're getting the data, and then pretty much we're initializing our init payment sheet as well as our present payment sheet, and then so that we can open that sheet when we press on the pay button. Okay, so over here it's gonna be price. Okay, now let's install the dependency for the front end, that is React Native Stripe, this one. Since we're using Expo, let's copy that code and then go into the correct terminal, that is the front end part. Don't install it in the Netflix backend, it's going to get error. Okay, so let's write, let's pretty much paste it. Let's hit enter and let's give it some time to install. I think it's taking some time. Okay, so over here we need to initialize our Stripe, that is over here. So let's write const Stripe equals to use Stripe, and let's import it from the correct dependency. Okay, so save the file once. Okay, can't find word await. Okay, that's because we're not making use of async. Let's write that over here. Save the file. Let's select a plan. Okay, so now what we need to do is we have just initialized our subscribe function. So for this to work, we need to include our Stripe provider over here. So let us do that. Let's import Stripe provider from the correct dependency. Okay, so let's wrap it inside our, let's wrap our stack navigator inside our Stripe provider, and this is going to take something called as the publishable key. So let's write that over here. So to get the publishable key, I've already shown you. It's going to be over here inside our Stripe inside the Stripe website. If you go to the dashboard over here, you can see the publishable key. Let's pretty much copy that value and then we're going to paste it over here. Okay, so that part is done. So save the file. So now if we press on the payment button, pretty much the Stripe payment sheet should work. Okay, so let's go to our register screen and just a minute. Plan screen, and let's start writing. Let's try to register. So let's give an email. And I think one more thing we have missed out inside register screen is that if the user just presses on the register screen, it's just gonna go to the plan screen. We do not have access to this. So let us disable the register button. if there is no input, and if there is no password. Okay, so that's the way to check that part. And let's provide a random password and then press on register. Yeah, so we are coming over here. Let's press on the payment button and check. I think we have run this file. Is it already working? Let's write node index.js. Okay, we have some error. Okay, it's showing it's already in use. Okay, so let's give it a try. Okay, I am pressing, nothing is happening. Let's see what is happening. Okay, so what we have 8,000. Let's open that one. It is 8080 over here. No, it is 8,000 here as well. Let's use 8080. Save the file, and over here all right, so let us change the value over here. Yeah, so now let's give it a try. Let's press on the payment button. Let's see what is the error. Okay, it's showing network request failed, right? Let us see what is happening. Okay, it's showing invalid JSON received from Stripe API. Okay guys, so the one mistake which we made was we should not include it in double quotes. Okay, in double quotes it should just be the value that we copied. Okay, so previously we had the double quotes over here, so we should just remove that. It should just be the plain value. Okay, so save the file and just run the server over here, that is Netflix. Come to the correct project directory and then just run this code node-index.js. It should give us a message that is listening on port for that particular port. Let's press on the pay button. It should open up the Stripe payment sheet. Okay, that is nice, it's coming with the correct amount. Okay, so now let us try to register the user, that is after the payment has been done. Okay, so let's write a else condition over here and let us write create user with email and password. Okay, it's gonna take three values, that is the auth, the email, and the password. Okay, so dot then for the user credential we can console.log our user if we want, that is user credentials. So there is an object inside this the console.log, that is the user. Okay, so let's access that. So const user equals to user credentials.user. Okay, so let's also access the mail that which the user registered. So console.log user.mail email. Okay, so let's give it a try from the beginning. Let's refresh the app and then save the file. Now I think we don't have access to the auth. Let's import it from the Firebase file. So for the email and password, we are getting it from the register screen, that is we are passing it over here, the information. Okay, so let's go and get access to that. So over here let's write const root equals to use route. Okay, and now let us access the value. So const email equals to root dot params dot email. Is it email or input? I think it's email only. So for password, it's going to be root dot params dot password. Let's give it a check again. Yeah, so the value is going to be email and then password. Okay, so save the file. So we have access to all the three things, that is auth, email and password, and then we are just console.logging the user email which he logged in with. Okay, so let us give that a try. Come back to this one, and then let us run the application again. Okay, so this is giving a warning over here, that is for the backend part. It can't find alert, so let's import it from React Native. So that's the reason it didn't show us the payment cancelled part when we canceled the payment at the initial stage. Okay, so let's run the project and let's try to register. Okay, let's give the email value. Let's also give a random password, then register. Okay, so before thing I've completely forgot, we need to include our authentication inside of Firebase, otherwise it's not going to work. We are just writing a function. Okay, so over here let's come to build and then press on authentication, and then we have several methods. So let's press on get started. This is the important part to do. By just writing the functions, it's not going to work. Let's give access to email and password. Let's enable this, and then let's press on save. Okay, so currently it's enabled. You can see the status over here. So now let's give it a try. So if we just press on the payment button, it should open up. That is a Stripe payment sheet. Okay, let's give the card default number, that is 424242, and we can give pretty much anything over here, that is for the month, year, as well as the CVV. Okay, so let's pay that particular amount. So after this is done, okay, so nothing is going to happen. Yeah, so you can see the email coming over here, so that we are registered with this particular email. Okay, so you can get all the details. So we only have the email, and other thing, it's going to be false or it's going to be undefined. That is a phone number, email verified, and all that things is going to be false. We're just going to follow the email value. So that's the reason we're just doing it, the console.log for that particular value. Okay, so now what we do is, after doing this, let's go check out the Firebase for the user. Yeah, so you can see we are able to create the user that we just typed inside our register screen. That is the name of the user, that is the email that we provided, and we have the user UID created, the date which is created, as well as the signed in method. Okay, so that, I think that part is done. So now let us try to provide the same thing for our login part. Okay, so let's write a function for that as well, and after that we are going to include a listener. That is very important. So where we have sign in, let's initialize that function sign in, and let's write const sign in equals to a function. Let's go to our plan screen. Let's pretty much copy the same thing and let's paste it over here. So instead of create user with email, it's going to be sign in with email and password. Okay, so we have access to the password. For the email, it's going to be input, because that's the value we have stored it inside of state. And for auth, let's import it from the Firebase file. Okay, so let's give a message which says logged in with that particular email. Okay, so save the file once, and now let us create a screen, and then let's add a listener for that. Okay, so if the user is registered or if he is logged in, we need to show the profile screen, that is the initial screen that we are going to show. So let's create a new screen, profile screen.js, then rnfes. So now let us include this screen inside our stack navigator, that is over here. Okay, so it's gonna be profile. So for the component, let's name it, let's import our profile screens from the screens folder and save the file. Okay, now let us go back to our login screen, and then let's make use of a use effect, and then let's write the listener. That is, if the user is logged in, okay, we should show the profile screen, else we should pretty much show the login screen if he's signed out. Okay, so let's write that. So use effect, okay, so let us write const unsubscribe equals to auth dot on auth state change. Let's take in the user. Let's write a condition. If the user is present, we're gonna say navigation dot navigate to the profile screen. Okay, over here we're simply gonna do the cleanup function. So let's write return unsubscribe. Okay, so now as I save the file, we should pretty much be navigated to the profile screen. Okay, let's give that a try. Yeah, so as you can see, we are coming to the profile screen because this is gonna run. Okay, so yeah, I think let's provide an empty dependency array, so that is gonna run only once. So let's go back to our profile screen and let's just include our safe area view. The same thing goes over here as well. Yeah, so this is pretty much the profile screen. Okay, so inside a profile screen, we will have a button at the bottom, as you've seen in the demo video, that is sign out. So if you sign out only, then this method is going to work. Okay, or else we're just going to run this one. That is, if the user is present, we're going to show the profile screen, else we're going to show the login screen. Okay, if the user is signed out. So now there is one problem that's going to occur. Okay, that is if we refresh the app, you can see that problem, and we're going to solve that in the next video. That is the starting part of the next video itself. Okay, so if I press on the project, it's going to load, it's going to show us the login screen. It's going to check for a second if we are logged in. If we are not logged in, if we are logged in, we are going into the profile screen. Okay, so we should not show that logged in screen even if we are logged in. So for that 1 second, we are going to make use of set state, set loading and loading, and then we're going to show an activity indicator if it is loading for that particular time interval. Okay, I think that's it for this video. In the next video, as I told, we're going to start with the loading part. Okay, so if it is loading, that is for that particular time interval, we're going to show the activity indicator. Okay, or else we're going to show the profile screen itself. Okay, and this function, as I told, is going to only work if the user is signed out. So this signed out button is going to come over here at the bottom towards the right in the profile screen. Okay, so we are going to implement that in the next video. I think that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Let's see you in the next.